you can find everything, but for right now, you can find True Armor right here, right now, live.
Hello,
True, what's
all.
going on?
What's going on? It's me, True Armor. Karma Armor on Twitch. Come watch me game eventually. That'll be happening.
So you're gonna be watching what game? You're gonna be watching what game?
Watch me game. I think I'm gonna start gaming Armor 3.
Okay.
Likely this week. It's a great game.
What are you gonna do when Armor Wars comes out by Disney?
Oh, the Reforger?
Yes.
I'll probably buy it like I always do.
Okay.
Sim wars and sim countries, I think, are better than real wars in real countries.
Okay. So we're here today. It's beautiful outside. I don't know about you. I went outside. 90 degrees.
Implying my lazy butt has not left the house?
No, I'm not implying that.
You had a 50-50 shot at being right about that, and you happen to have been right about that.
So, where do we get started? I was thinking something lighthearted, something easy, something smooth. We don't have anyone in the chat. If you are in the chat, say hello if you feel implied to. If you don't want to say hello, just right now in the chat, type the letters. TRUARMOR, True Armor. Hey Helga, how you doing? Helga's in the room. Hey Helga, how you doing? Whoa.
That's my fault, sorry.
Whoa. We're not going to be able to recover from this. And I'm not going to be able to recover from that either. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on here, but a couple of topics we're going to cover. How you doing?
Yep, did it again.
Did it again. Well, so preparing for potential outdoor risk. What does that mean? It was an article that we published this morning.
Wow.
Preparing for outdoor risk. Kids could potentially be exposed to the dangers of outdoors because it's 90 degrees in New York, and it's going to be that way, for most of the week. For most of the weekend. But with some, there's some type of awareness and preparation beforehand. Allowing kids to have free time outside can be a safe experience. So this afternoon, I'm dropping my son off at a barbecue / party.
Nice.
With one of his friends. It starts at 5 o'clock. So it's like from 5 to 9. So, but here's a couple of options. Roadways and highways. Even very young children can learn about the dangers of cars and road rules. Children should avoid playing on or near busy streets and stay away from areas of heavy traffic. So if we were to follow that one true, so what are the kids supposed to do? They can only play in parks.
Stay home and watch Xbox, and then we can complain about how they don't do anything.
Stay home and game.
Yeah, exactly. Look, listen, they're always complaining about children not doing anything, and then they're always complaining about the stuff that children do. I would say that before there was game realms where you could slay dragons, there was the real life realm where you had to go outside. So, maybe you should trust your kids to go outside. But I think this is more about like the excuse of crime, right? Like it's every place, but it's not, or half of us will be dead. So I think you're going to have to kind of, like America preaches paranoia. So you're going to have to sort of get over some of your paranoia and let your kids go outside and do stuff. Because you can't be with them all the time. You won't be with them for the rest of their life.
So we grew up together on a, would you say it was a busy street? It led from a main boulevard.
No, you know why it wasn't a busy street? It did. And it ran between 3 major boulevards, right? 130th Merrick Boulevard in to Merck 130th. The avenue between us and 130th was fairly busy, right? It was a major avenue it was the first major artery off the major avenue, just in case people wanted to avoid lights and stuff. So it was fairly busy. But we still managed to play skelly in the street, like draw the giant skelly ball. Girls were able to play jump rope in the, double dutch, I think they called it, double dutch. We were able to get some stick games going. So yeah, occasionally you had to let a car go by. But generally, it was a nice, quiet, what they would say was a bucolic tree-lined street, right?
Don't worry, Tony. This is going to be a short live stream. We're going to do something later on. So I got it. I know you're getting off of work. Hey, Helga.
What up, Tony? Hey, Helga.
So, but what I'm saying is we were kids. We played in the street.
Yep.
There were cars always going down the street. It was one-way traffic.
Yep.
And we
had a code, right? I don't know who made it up, but we were in the street. Everyone would yell "car," and you would look up and stop what you're doing and get out of the way. It was right. It was. I mean, kids have their own society. We had these rules, so yeah. Let the kids go out, and maybe they'll realize that, some of them are a little more adept than they thought they were because they're not playing games.
I don't know. I just think we were lucky because the block was filled with kids.
Yes, another good thing. We grew up in a time where people like
Congratulations to your son. Congratulations on your son's graduation. But seriously, it was busy. We did what we needed to do. We played softball. We played football. We
stayed out from dusk to dawn, right?
Right.
So the street lights came on. And if you did something goofy, somebody's mom would correct your behavior, and we all grew up on the same block. We all knew each other. And it was nice. Now I don't think a lot of people know each other.
No one knows each other. I mean, you might know the neighbor to your left and to your right.
Exactly. And you might know them, but that's no guarantee that you like them, right? Those are the ones that you just have the most interactions with. Some people have neighbor from hell issues. And even if that neighbor from hell went away, they still don't know any neighbors in the neighborhood. So, yeah.
So,
America.
Next option. We did roads and highways. COVID-19. Most kids understand the need for properly wearing a face mask, socially distancing, washing their hands often, ensures kids are properly equipped before they go out by having masks and small bottles of hand sanitizer accessible. I think this has been a topic that has been beat to the ground.
Yeah, and if you say the wrong thing, you will get like a strike on YouTube or Twitch or something about this.
So let's go to the next option.
Yeah, exactly, because I already got punched in the face by YouTube.
The best one of these topics is stranger danger. Children should avoid contact with adults they don't know and who may engage them.
That just makes sense. That's a golden rule, right?
Kids should remain in groups with friends for their safety and have someone they know and trust to accompany them home.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, first of all, how young are we talking? Children?
I'm guessing,
under 10? Under 5 is different than under 10. Under 15. Preteen. All right. So let's go between 10 and 12. All right, let's go between 8 and 12. All right. Let's go. Yeah, I think like I said, if I was coming home from school and you and your mom pulled up and was like, "Hey, Sean, it's going to rain. Let me give you a lift," I wouldn't even hesitate to hop in the car, right? Because I know you, I know your mom. My mom knows your mom, right? Excuse me, Paz. So people would understand that relationship. Sometimes things come up where you have to have somebody designated, which is a super rare instance, but normally that's, oh my God, there was a car accident. I told you if anything happens, your aunt is going to pick you up from school. So when the aunt shows up at school, they'll verify it. So-and-so come down to the principal's office. Is this your aunt or your uncle? And they go, yeah, uncle, this is what's going on. So we've already built in a sort of a structure to handle stranger danger, right? Don't take ice cream from strangers. Don't get in the van, right? Right? Scream if they come near you. So I don't know, man. I think a lot of this is just to keep you perpetually paranoid about everything.
All right,
Strange danger.
next topic.
Yes.
Falls and injuries. Bumps and bruises happen. An adult should always supervise younger children at play in case help is needed.
No. In case help is needed, should you drive with a cop just in case you get into an accident? Help is rarely needed. Kids settle this stuff. They fall into their tears like we did. Some get by through wit and cleverness. Some do get by through jokes and humor. Some get by through sort of being a bully, and then they realize no one likes them, or they have this reputation. So kids sort of settle it. I hate to say, yeah, you need an adult to get in there to break up kind of like physical violence and all this, and you also need to let them know you don't hit girls, no matter what girls say, and bigger dudes don't hit smaller dudes. That's just bullying it. So you give them sort of like the rudimentaries of polite society, as polite as our society is, and then they grow up with that, and then in that they find like I said, they find their tier, right? So yeah, I think no, let the kids be kids. And usually they'll set it to lit themselves.
Next one, protection from the elements. Children need to exercise caution from some of the things that they may be drawn to most, such as animals, bodies of water, i.e. pools, lakes, and rivers. And a hot sunny day, just like today is a hot sunny day, animals could scratch, bite, or cause allergies. Playing around water unsupervised could lead to drowning. And
Good
too
Lord,
much time outside.
What are these kids on the Serengeti? Who's writing this?
And too much time
Free-range
outside.
children with spears. All right.
And too much time outside on a hot sunny day could lead to dehydration and sunburn.
Yes, but let's look at the numbers. How many people get dehydrated or get sunburned, right? Like a low number. People know when to sit down and have a drink. And sometimes just so amped up, like I used to be, super hyper kid, my mother would order me off the battlefield to go get some water, sit down for a second. You're sweating like so I mean, even if you're not watching, like, and I'm thinking about like you said, looking out the window, you can see what like the kids are doing. And generally kids make noise when it all goes haywire, like every other microcosm of society, and which causes people to look over there and go, what the hell is going on over there? Why are you guys yelling? Why don't stop fighting? Don't mess with that cat. Leave that. Don't climb that. So the adults will eventually come in and throw now, as I'm older, a reasonable wet blanket on some of the fun before it gets out of control. But again, generally, let the kids be kids and let them find their own way. And who knows, maybe you'll have the best crop of kids because they've figured it out without all these adults fighting at their junior high school baseball games or whatever it was.
So I want to read a couple of comments.
Yes.
Eleanor Marie.
Yeah, I saw that.
She said, even as an adult, wait, hold on. I want to put this on screen. And it reads as follows. Even as an adult, I stay away from strangers. I don't want to know. With a smile.
Oh,
true.
Yeah.
And a secondary comment from Eleanor says, if you're always nearby, how are kids going to learn that they can use their super glue to close up the wounds instead of stitches? Very good.
Exactly.
Very good.
Exactly.
So as we say, parents say the darndest things. Playground hazards. Playground equipment occasionally breaks and may not be safe for use. It's a good idea to perform a quick visual inspection before letting your kid use the equipment. I can tell you truthfully, and you might deem me as a terrible father, but I've never done that.
But I like what? Yeah, not all of them. I think parents are smart enough to look and go, "Oh no, don't go near that. That looks," just with a cursory glance. But I don't think you need to walk around and hit stuff and rattle the cage and check the stability and go, "All right, tiny 3-year-old, get in there." I think when we grew up, everything was metal and that there was no plastic rubber there, and you can get hit in the face with the swing. So for a while, they took all the swings out of all New York City. One
Mhm.
person gets hurt, everybody has to stop doing it, right? One
Right.
person in the city got a peanut allergy. They take peanuts out of all the schools in the whole city. No more peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, a staple of American childhood, for God's sakes. And this is what it is. Versus going, all right, well, we'll make some special concessions because we're likely to get more of these type of people, and we'll have a policy in place. But we won't punish everybody. Everyone else can have. But they rely on children. Your 5-year-old not to give their 5-year-old friend a peanut sandwich. That's what they rely on. So there you go. And you're so used to it. I'm off on the rant now. If you're so used to it, they take more stuff. So now they've taken just handwriting cursive out of schools, which I just think is horrible. But yeah, go ahead.
Another New York-based story.
Ooh.
NYC 12-year-old local gives laptops to hearing impaired students in Queens to bridge digital divide. Love this story. Republished it earlier today.
I am not going to be Scrooge, man. This is why you have me here, to be Scrooge. I'm not going to be Scrooge. It's the middle of summer. I am not going to be Scrooge. Although I think that story is bullshit. But I'm not going to be Scrooge.
I'm not following you on the Scrooge comments.
I think this kind of story where one girl gives us, I don't care how many laptops she gave to.
Did you read the story?
No, I did not read the story.
How about you read the story?
Oh
then
man,
you comment.
Boy, geez. All right.
Then you comment. You can't comment.
Wait, I thought you asked me to comment on. Okay, fine.
But you got to read it first.
No, I don't. I've seen this before. I've seen a lot. My position is, in a pandemic where education is a problem, this story is not cute. It's tragic. The government should be giving people laptops, and by the millions, right? All these students, versus some sweet young girl in Queens who gave 10, 20, 50, 100. It's a dent. It's not even a dent. It's not even a grazing. This draws no blood from the beast that is killing us. So I think laptops with everybody would have.
I don't even know what you mean.
Let's check the comments. I just want to make sure no one insulted my mother yet. Okay. See, you made me the bad guy. I mean, you're making like I'm against this young girl.
If you let me read the story,
okay,
then you can comment on it.
All right, fine.
Okay, so the story reads as follows, and it's a quick read. Go to the website. It's a great website. I'm telling you. So NYC 12-year-old local gives laptops to hearing impaired students in Queens to bridge digital divide. The story reads as follows.
Mm-hmm.
When the COVID-19 pandemic hit New York City and schools switched to remote learning, a 12-year-old Daisy Hampton noticed that a lot of her classmates weren't showing up to their virtual sessions. After learning that many students across NYC couldn't attend online classes because they lacked access, the key word, access, to
learning tools. I'm with Daisy here.
To learning tools like computers, tablets, Wi-Fi hotspots, Daisy wanted to help. What started as a small act of kindness has turned into a citywide movement to close the digital...
Into a photo opportunity? What'd you say?
Let me read the story.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What started as a small act of kindness has turned into a citywide movement to close the digital gap and ensure that every student has the tools they need to learn, grow, and thrive in remote learning. Through GoFundMe, Daisy's Kids Need Connection fundraiser has raised over $17,800. To date, she has given over 100 laptops to students in the Bronx, Chinatown, and to students in Mississippi.
Okay, first let's be clear. That's a lot of laptops, and that's a lot of money raised.
Hold on. Next week, she will deliver 20 computers to hearing impaired students in Queens. The event is happening at Martin Van Buren High School, which is local.
Oh,
Tony
Martin
D
Van
would know
Buren.
that. At 23017 Hillside Avenue, Queens, New York. So now, sir,
Okay, do we have any connections to Martin Van Buren? You and I
I
do,
mean,
but anybody else?
I do, but
Yeah, it's just a neighborhood high school. So we just, that's my clever way of shouting out New York City high schools. Martin Van Buren, August Martin, Andrew Jackson, Springfield. Yeah, the Cardoza. Yeah, anyway, go ahead. Little
so
shout out to you
now,
guys.
so now comment on the story.
Wow. Okay, first,
So you went balls
wow. I
deep.
just want to
You
say,
went balls deep into the story before you even read it.
oh, you asked, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I agree with the young lady that there is a educational gully, right? A chasm between some groups. And like she said, once this whole thing started happening, people started missing school. Then I go back to my original argument. I appreciate what she's doing. It's very Girl Scout of her, right? Like young girls who do things like this, you keep an eye on so you can make sure they end up in Congress and not like the crazy people, right? Young boys who jump into lake to save people in Wisconsin. Keep an eye on them 20 years later. Maybe you want them in Congress because they're already showing that they care about their fellow man. Having said that, I'm tired of all the kids in the like they're not in the way, they're adorable, but they're being used, right? These Greta Thunbergs. You're not going to write new law. You're not going to write a book that changes. You're just sort of like being used as kind of like this lovely diversion. When people should be asking, why are these children involved in this? What are you not doing? You know what I'm saying? And what you're not doing is fixing the education system so some of these kids can sort of not miss a beat because we're going to need them in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, right? We want a brain trust. And you're crippling it so your friend's kid can run the place, who it seems to me anyway, who come out of like 5 schools, right? Not 5, but like 7 schools, like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Brown, Dartmouth. I think there's a couple I missed, Columbia, right? So you just like, man, now you're seeing the problem with our education system. So you have to drop that and make sure the classes you have now don't drop out, because they're not just dropping out at the senior level. They're dropping out in junior high, not junior high, in 11th grade, some in 10th grade, but that's still a gully that's getting bigger. You want to keep them there. You don't want them to fall behind. So you should have given them. So I don't care how you made the deal to get them laptops, to make sure that, they stayed together. Some of this is social, right? People miss their friends. So maybe you should have maybe not opened the school, but opened the parking lot and the school field and sat people 8-10 feet apart so you could at least see each other while you did your homework and then blow off the rainy, cloudy days. That's some energy, right? But man, I don't think they get, I don't think what's the word? I don't think they knew what to do while they told us they had it under control. And I also think that there's a technological gap with the people who do all this technology and the people who dictate the rules, right? The 70-year-olds versus these 40 and 50-year-old tech masters. And I think those guys have a giant gully between them and us who use this technology. So somebody's going to have to figure it out. But right now, the least you could have done to stay a little ahead is made sure the kids of this nation did not fall behind, and by giving them laptops. Even if you said, okay, if they don't show up anymore with this laptop, because first of all, they all have IPs that go someplace. You know when somebody's online with their laptop. You can go, your parents going to pay for it through their taxes. But right now, we're going to give it to you for you to stay in school. And everybody's going to get the same type. And, I play games online, and there's a certain minimum standard of a good laptop PC that you give everybody, not one of these $200 jobs. But you also don't need a $2,000 job, right? You can get somebody a really good $1,100 PC, $900 somewhere in there, and then tweak as needed. The programs for if it's clothing or business, or programs for stock, right? Tweak as needed. But they didn't do any of that. And now you have this lovely little girl with her kind heart having me go, sweet young miss, you are just in the way, giving cover, human shield type stuff for politicians who didn't do the proper thing by their constabulary, which is us. So let me check the tweets at the tweets. Let me check the comments just to make sure I don't have to pack up and go into hiding. Good Lord. All right.
No, I'm not saying you have to go into hiding. I just
They all shouldn't just take a year. No, I don't think they should have taken a year off. We should be able to do this without missing a beat. You know, we really should be able to. We should be able to adapt on our feet. We've become fat and lazy. We are a dinosaur. We are like what we were right before World War II, and everybody just thought we had a big population of lazy, stupid people, right? And then all of a sudden, you switched us on, and then we were just like warmongering meatheads, who are still warmongering to this day. So yeah, I think we'll surprise you. I think we have a knack for keep surprising people, but now we need to surprise ourselves. We need to not be, some berg, some blip in history. We got to fix this pandemic thing and keep it moving. Our internal race issues, sexist issues. We gotta get it moving. So yeah, a year off.
okay. So thumbs up.
Yeah, Mike Patton. His daughter did a full year off. Did the full year. They had a plan. See, like, yeah, and then you go, I don't have a plan. Then you look to where Mike's kid maybe goes. I'm sorry, I call you Mike like I know you. But and maybe you can adopt their plan. They didn't even care to take anybody else's plan.
No,
they were just so.
No. Hold on. Problem is,
someone had to have the best plan in the country. Then everyone should have used that. And if you didn't want that, maybe you should use the second best plan. But the plan should have been. You know what I'm saying?
You watched this play out for the last 15 months, right?
Yeah.
You watched, instead of a federal plan, there were 50 statewide plans. That's the problem.
Yeah. And that's my thing. The bad of those 50 should have fallen away. And we all should have adopted the best plan. The only thing that America does that makes sense is you don't need to have a new driver's license and then take a new test if you move to a new city. We all sort of recognize a base level driving ability, right? So now no one in the country recognizes a base level educational ability or educational curriculum. Right now, nobody recognizes a base educational not education, but like plan for like we have the same evacuation plan everywhere. People turn all the traffic, both sides, out of where they want you to go, right? Nobody said that's stupid. We're going to keep it the way it is, taking side streets through neighborhood, and that's what it is. And it's how they keep power. And it has to be something totally ridiculous for them to then change it while they still stay in power.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the comments.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read from the point where Mike Patton says his daughter did the entire school year online. They had an entire plan. Okay, yeah, so I want to stop. Hold on. I want to stop because charter schools, private schools operate different than public schools.
Yeah.
While Mike is in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm in Long Island, New York, and there's about maybe, I don't know, 600 miles that separate us, maybe 700.
Yeah. And a couple of hundred municipalities and counties in between. Right.
Right. While that separates us, so my son is in private. So all the hoops and everything that they were running through with public, private was handled separately.
Okay. But this is not
so hold on. I just want to run back to Mike. Well, so my next follow-up question would have been to Mike, how was this done? So he gets into this comment of that's why I love my daughter's school. They are mostly a black charter school,
Right.
a school that has money donated to them by NFL player Jalen Ramsey. So the key thing is these charter schools, and it's a big talking point in New York because the question, and it's probably across the nation, because it's where should you cap charter schools versus, because obviously there's a fight over the youth. And if charter schools are available, then parents that live in the neighborhood can pull their student out of a public school, put them into a privately funded charter school, and where they have a CEO and they have it's a business.
Yeah.
I want to go to Anthony Davis's comment. Anthony, thank you for commenting. And it's for you, True. He said, True, I think we are able to think on our feet. The very example of someone with a huge heart doing something to provide laptops to those who can't or may not is a perfect example of it. And I agree with Anthony because you took the other side of it. I'm not demonizing you or anything, but I think the student, yes, there is an overarching problem. But for this young child to take it upon herself and to raise money and get the funding to that other businesses are able to jump on, because these corporate businesses like to jump onto something well after the skids have been greased, I think is a great idea.
Okay. Well, I still maintain that the government should be doing this.
And I agree with you.
criticism
I agree
isn't
with
some
you.
12-year-old.
I agree with you.
It's deeper than that. It's that she shouldn't have to do this if the government had been doing its job.
Right. But what does this say about the individual that she's doing it?
No, but I don't even register. That doesn't register in my mind. What registers in my mind about that is that she shouldn't have to be doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise,
I'm
sidetracked with the cuteness of it, and then they can drop any cute young
with
girl buying cookies or rescuing puppies to distract me. Like I said, I think.
But I agree with you. I agree with you.
Okay.
So,
but I think if more people looked at it like that, they would even try that.
But if I'm agreeing with you, so I need some type of concession. What do you think about the young lady who's going out there and putting together this initiative?
Oh, whole separately. I addressed that already. I think these are the kind of young people you need to keep an eye on, so you can put them in Congress in like 25 years, right?
Gotcha.
She's got a big heart. She's already oriented in the right direction of helping her fellow human being out, right? Yeah, you want to keep an eye on those kind of people. Like I say, like the boy who rescued somebody from a fire in like Wisconsin or something, and who's like 10, 12, 15. You want to keep an eye on him. You want to maybe crowdsource a college education for that guy and send him off to someplace, so maybe he'll come back and represent you well in your state house, and then so and so. But to say that them doing that great thing sort of absolves all these 90-year-olds who are in our government in all positions, I would say no. I like I said, I think politically they hide behind these feel-good stories, and you always see it when they're in trouble. Like when the cops are running amok, you'll see a lot of, wow, this cop climbed a tree and rescued a kitten. Well, these cops were called and they played basketball with the kids. Oh, you like those stories, but they only generally really begin to burble up when like one group has acted really ridiculously. So
okay. I understand what you're saying. I don't see that angle with the 12-year-old student. So
no, I didn't say she. Okay.
No, but do you? I don't see
that.
No,
I'm saying she's used as cover.
Okay.
And I can see how she is used as cover. And I thought I explained it, but I'm not saying there's anything that she should or should not be doing at all. Quite frankly, I'm saying that she did a noble thing. But I think it's a magic trick. Look at this while this hand does something completely different.
Okay, so Eleanor has a comment. It says, well, they should now, but nobody at school.
I didn't say she shouldn't have. I never said she shouldn't have.
You got to let me read it. You got to let me read it before you respond. Well, they should now, but nobody at schools were planning for a pandemic before the pandemic. Okay, so then we go to Mike Patton chimes in and says, "I like the chat. I like this charter school. I don't know if there's a little reverb, I guess, on my side. Let me go out and come back in.
You got reverb. Oh, let me grab my guitar and sing to you guys. Hey Nah by Outkast. You ready? Oh man, I was this close to singing the song, Biz.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I like this charter school because they actually teach Black history as well as the basics in school as well. So we get real world teaching and nothing in history gets skipped over. We get the real history. School is led by a Black woman around the age of him and his wife. And okay, so Anthony Davis has a response for you, which says,
what is going on here?
Well, just read it first before you respond. Yes, she shouldn't have to, but she did because of her mindset. I'm sure her heart and her actions have had major impact for generations to come.
Okay, again, I'm not saying that the lady did anything that she should not have done. That's not what I'm saying. I didn't say she should not have done anything. I just want to be clear. So yeah, all right, continue.
Okay, so Eleanor chimes in, and this is good. But they never tell you that they were the one that put the kitten up there in the first
Right.
Good one, Eleanor.
Right.
All right, and Desiree chimes in and says, much love to you, Desiree. We love everything that you do. You actually bring a beautiful positivity to this platform.
Oh, nice.
No, she does.
That's nice.
And everyone in the chat room does also. Okay, so now we have a story that I'm sure I'm going to give you the title. You can choose to respond to the title or not.
Okay.
Or you could let me read the 3 or 4 lines. Facebook revises rules on content that politicians and world leaders post. You have the choice to allow me to read it.
I didn't say anything.
Oh. Facebook is planning to change how it handles politicians and world leaders who post content that violates the social media company's terms of service. Currently, Facebook gives politicians leeway in what they can post because what they say is considered newsworthy. Under the new system, politicians will be treated like any other user and could see their posts removed or their accounts suspended if they promote violence or hate speech. Facebook will still have a newsworthy exemption, which would allow some posts to remain. Those posts would contain a disclaimer that they violated the company's community standards. The social media company will also be introducing a strike system. People who violate the rules will receive a notice of the strike and could be suspended or banned if they continue to ignore them. The new policy could run afoul of a new law in Florida that prohibits social media companies from deplatforming politicians and those who are running for office. Now, I say this to you based on Facebook saying yesterday, ruling that Trump has to serve a 2-year suspension. So basically, he's on the bench for 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, I say, what would you like to say?
I think that's all hooey. The idea that a private company can tell an elected official to shut up is ridiculous to me. I think silencing Trump, whether you like him or not, is a problem, and it's going to prove to be a problem for them down the line. And silence him, and the only reason that they're going to silence him to January 2020 is because that gives them room to not bar him from, I guess, another presidential run. You know what I mean?
Well, let me just insert this, and then you can grab the floor again. He's banned until January 7th,
January 2022.
2023. January 7th, 2023. 2 years.
2022.
It's 2 years from the date of January 6th.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I think they got problems. I don't know how it's going to play out, but yeah, these are the kind of things that I don't know, man. If you hate him, just prove he's wrong. But banning and banishing people is a very European thing to do in this country. So we're going to see how it all pans out. I mean, even if he's wrong, you should be able to, like, prove that he's wrong. You shouldn't ban him from being heard because you can't deal with him. And mind you, this also looks like he's their political enemy and that this is how they're dealing with him. So the next time you get a Republican president, do not be surprised if this is how it's done. And so now, flash forward 20 years, you've got just a government where every election is followed by arrest of the opposing people. So yeah, presidents are not like anybody else. They're the walking embodiment of the country in general. We'll see what happens. But I mean, it's not once you can. There's a thing called beware the oh my God, what's the first time something begins with a P? I forgot. Beware the precedent, right? So if it's a bad precedent, it's still on the books, and people can go, well, we did this, and like I always use Bloomberg running, like not really. Bloomberg stayed in New York for 12 years when he could only stay for 8. So you figure out what happened here. And I told people who just loved him, they couldn't figure out why this was bad because they got what they wanted. I was like, you wait till some president cites this incident as the reason he's not leaving. People are just, they sell you it like it's a sports event and you're on this side and they're on that side. When actually, you're going to see how it turns out. Yeah, so I don't know. January 2023, so he's got 7 months of campaign if he does want to run for president. Yeah, I don't know. It normally takes like January to it's got like November. He's got like 11 months. I don't know. I think they took power that they didn't have to be in pocket with politicians, and the other group who, don't get it wrong, have been, in my opinion, playing funny with the rules for a long time. We'll see where this goes because we've been at a slow heat with each other for at least the last 150 years. So we'll see. But banning Trump from these political platforms, I think, is
True, you stopped talking.
going to be one of them out being able to speak to the people that you want to speak to.
Did I lose you?
No, you told me to stop talking, so I stopped talking.
No. I said true. You stopped talking because you flowed in and you flowed out.
Oh, really? Well, yeah.
So what was your last? Your just repeat your last line because it came in kind of choppy.
Okay. Essentially, I think that banning political people is going to be one of the nails in the coffin of this place, in a place where everybody is free to speak, whether you could agree with them or not. Banning the chief speaker of a whole group of people is gonna be a problem down the line.
Okay. I want to table this for a second. Want to table it, and we're going to go to the comments. Comment from Jeff Ocean says, there will be another Trump after him.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
Eleanor Marie chimes in and says, so they are changing things, but they are not. Well, they're kind of dancing to their own tune, Eleanor. That they're like, hey, we've got 2.5 billion users. We've got
more money
our
than we know what to do with.
Our platform is available in 190 countries. We're going to do what we want to do with their oversight committee.
Exactly.
Okay. So Anthony Davis chimes in and says, so basically politicians will be blocked, but young teenagers can twerk and dress provocative if they want.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Well, I think what Anthony Davis just described.
But one has nothing to do with the other.
But I think what Anthony Davis described was TikTok. Okay. Sunday Night Smoke says the owner reserves the right to ban anyone.
Exactly.
Truer words haven't been spoken.
Amen to that, brother.
Helga chimes in and says, and now they come after us. I think they're already coming after us.
Yeah, I think yeah, we're already. I was gonna say came to after, but that sounds weird. We've always been sought. Forget.
Well, no, we it's the hunter and the hunted. We are the hunted.
Yes, we are.
TJ chimes in. What's up, T? Good afternoon, fellas. Great.
What's up, T?
Combo.
TJ, right?
Yep.
Yeah, TJ the Project. Hey, I remember you. What's up?
Eleanor chimes in and says, can we ban all the politicians from platforms? I don't want to hear anything from any of them, just saying. I would be okay with that, but these politicians give a lot of money to these platforms. So they're buying airtime.
Yeah. And also the point of, I was always taught, let a fool speak, right? And you'll see that he's a fool. So once people start being able to not speak and they become the victim, it's better that you just let them say stupid things and then hang themselves. Or I could be out here going, we all love ice cream. You're like, yeah. And we love hamburgers. They're like, yeah. And we love, eating frogs out the lake. You're like, hey, oh, whoa, wait a minute. You're gone too far. What are you talking about? Yeah, no, we don't want you in our whatever. And that's what you should let these politicians do. But the problem is, good Lord, everybody keeps their politicians around forever, like their baseball cards. I'm like, if everybody looked at it like, man, I want the best guy in my town who's a politician to be president, you would get a lot better, I think, class of people running for this gig. But now people just want to win, like I said. And it's Republicans versus Democrats, and we'll see what we get.
Okay. TJ chimes in and says, I disagree with blocking people for their opinion. That's un-American and unconstitutional.
Yeah.
YouTube has a bad habit of that.
Yeah, I'm going to like that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Reading it through it, TJ says, to Eleanor, except Andrew Yang, he's actually intelligent. TJ also, Sunday Night Smoke chimes in and says, not according to New Yorkers. I think so. In a rebuttal to Ace World and Sunday Night Smoke, a slight rebuttal. Not that Yang isn't intelligent. It's just Yang doesn't come off as being a New Yorker. He comes off as being artificial.
Yeah.
I think that's his problem. He was going well until
he got caught pandering.
Yeah. Walking into.
Am I even going to be allowed to tell you my political opinions on Andrew Yang?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I like platforms and I will not be banned.
No,
No,
no, no. I said the problem with Andrew Yang is he walks into a Whole Foods and says it's a bodega.
he don't know what he's talking about. Hey, look, man, the dude is not a New Yorker. Just because you move there does not mean you are a New Yorker, right? And there are people who move there with a lot of cash, and they set themselves up in these old neighborhoods, like my old neighborhood of Carroll Gardens, right? It's Cobble Hill, right? And they don't
Well,
know anything. When I
well,
moved
well,
there,
well hold
there
on.
were
Just tell people about Carroll Gardens, Cobble Hill. Where is that
not
actually
well.
located?
That's on right. That's on the tip of the Brooklyn Bridge end of the Brooklyn, South Brooklyn, essentially. Higher up than Park Slope, really down lower, not as far down as the Cobble roads over there. But the idea was, it's down by the water. I mean, it's nice, but it floods and there are rats, and people pay entirely a ton of money to get rid of people. When I first moved out there were Dominican and uh, what's the other group? Like Spanish club, Puerto Rican clubs. They had like a storefront, and it'd be a private club. People would play pool there and play salsa there, and you had to know somebody, right? Within 2 years, it was like, go west, young man. There were no natives there anymore, and all those people there were telling you how they were liberals and they were Democrats, and they felt you, and they just moved you out. So he's one of those people. He doesn't know what a bodega is, right? I mean, after hours clubs and all that energy. I mean, this is why I think a lot of people are very protective and appreciative of AOC. She's a neighborhood girl, right? She knows what a bodega is, knows what the F train is at rush hour, knows, so she grew up there. People appreciate that versus the people who swoop in and set up shop, don't talk to any locals, work to get you out, right? Supplant you completely. And that's what's going on here. So, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I'm glad he's not leading more, but when he was leading, I told you, I don't know how this guy's leading, right? I don't, nah, don't even get me started. I just don't know how he was leading. And now he's not. So instead of the person who should be leading, Eric Adams, there's a lady lawyer leading, which doesn't make any sense to me either, right? So, look, in an age of cops being outrageous, how does New York City not want the guy who's got a history of standing up for good policing, and do so much so that they wouldn't promote him? He had to sue for it several times. He had to sue to become a sergeant. He had to sue to become a lieutenant. He had to sue to become a captain. And after captain is sort of appointments, right? And they never appointed him. And they let him know to take the money and retire and get the hell out of here, essentially. And for them to have Clintonites in the debate sort of paint him as, this wild cop who wants, it's just, it shows you what even Democratic politics among the Democrats are about. It's about lies and bullshit. And people who haven't followed this for the last 25 years, New York politics, will look at this and go, oh, wow, that cop must have been beating people up. When he's exactly the person you want in this environment to appoint your police commissioner. At the very minimum, he's the guy you want to be police commissioner, right? And all these liberals don't want that to happen. They want to go, oh, we came close, but next time, guys, no. This is your power base of keeping people sort of out of play, and now you don't know how to contain it anymore. And he's definitely the last thing you want, which means he should be the first thing everybody who's got young Black and Latino kids in New York City should want. But, all the people who run the Democratic Party are Clintonites. And they are just as, I was about to say racist. I'm not going to say racist. They are just as hard to deal with and ridiculous as a lot of these other people who openly tell you that they are not for you. Remember that girl that the Clintons took out of that thing because she was, she unveiled that sign and the guy grabbed her and walked her out of there in the nicest but muscled way you could possibly see. It is what it is, man. You want real change, but man, whew, you got to support the people who are bringing change. You can't just do the same thing, right? Like all our elders who voted for Joe Biden can't just do the same thing. So I'm really hoping that the first sign of this is people in New York City proper go, you know what, we can't change everything, but man, maybe this guy will be able to fix the police situation. Because that is in the top, I would say, 3 things that Black and Latinos want. And it's like in the top 15 things that wealthy white New Yorkers want. So there you go. Yeah, it is a swamp.
And with that,
Well, yeah, obviously both sides have biases, Tony D. I mean, but I mean, we're talking about people being murdered off, right? You've made Asian bias a cornerstone of this thing, but what's going on here? While that's bad, I mean, other people are being murdered. That should be your primary thing, and it isn't. So this way, at least in one place in the country, New York, where there's a ton of black folk, it's in the environs of New York City, New York, Staten Island, Queens, the Bronx, Brooklyn, they can do some real good for their children with this election if they don't listen to the standard Democratic line. He's a Democrat, but the standard Democratic line is he's bad because he's, man, I don't know. It's again, it's your city now. We'll see what happens, but man, I'm watching this closely, and if he doesn't win, I'm just gonna be like, you were not serious. You were not serious. So we'll see.
And with that, we'll bring a close to the show. We
Yep,
want to thank everyone who chimed in from the comment field. I want to thank True Armor.
And I want to thank you, because we're also broadcasting on my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel. Come find me in either place, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely True Armor. You can find True Armor everywhere.
Fine paperbacks are sold.